Good morning. 8:23 in the morning. It's 12:12, December 12th, 8:23 in the morning here in western Iowa. Looking out the window, a few snowflakes coming down. I would call it a flurry right now. So we're not expecting a lot. Maybe a dusting, maybe. But it's cold too. We'll show you that here in a second. Let's check out the hazards first around the country, and we've got two areas of concern. So the Great Lakes, the lake effect snows are back, and with a vengeance. Winter storm warnings in effect for Michigan and the UP of Michigan. Winter weather advisories around that. Winter weather advisories in the eastern Great Lakes as well. There's going to be a lot of wind here too, along with a lot of lake effect snow. And we have a little bit of wind issues for Pennsylvania into West Virginia. Wind advisories here. Also Southern California and up the Central Coast, wind advisories to high wind watch. A strong storm moving into California could see some flooding issues along the coast, and it's heavy snow in the mountains. That's our other area of concern with winter storm watches, winter weather advisories, winter storm warnings. Well, I don't see that, but I do see winter storm watches and winter weather advisories for the mountains of Northern California and the Sierra Nevada, and also up there in Oregon. Some winter weather advisories. Our weather spotlight back here in Harlan, because things are going to get interesting. So there's our 30% chance of snow this morning, which is happening right now. Again, very light. It's a flurry. High today, 19. It's 10 right now. Wind chill -2, even though it's not that windy. It's going to be cold tonight, single digits again. And then tomorrow looks really interesting. Increasing clouds. And then late in the day, say late afternoon, early evening, a chance for freezing rain. And freezing rain into Friday night, changing to rain. Maybe Saturday morning, perhaps even before sunrise, but it could get kind of slickery out there. And then we see warmer temperatures, not warm, but warmer, and a slight chance of rain by Monday. So out there right now, it's cold, as you know. So like 10 degrees right now here in western Iowa. This looks like an old map. Yeah, this is from 2 days ago. Let's move on. Let's do our 24-hour temperature change, because it's pretty dramatic for the Great Lakes and also the East. I mean, 33 degrees cooler than yesterday in North Carolina, for example. And that goes all the way down into Florida. So it's chilly in Florida this morning. Also, that cold air, upper Midwest, we're only 2 degrees cooler than yesterday for Omaha, because it was really cold yesterday morning too. A little bit warmer as you head to the southwest and down into Texas. Surface today shows that strong storm entering Northern California with heavy snow in the mountains and rain along the coast. And then we have our Great Lakes storm with lots of wind, cold air blowing across the lakes. Heavy lake effect snow is possible. There you see our swath of light snow. It's picking up a little bit. It's light snow right now in Iowa and South Dakota and Illinois, Indiana, Ohio. All right, anomalous temperatures today, much below average. Upper Midwest, northern plains into the Great Lakes, slightly below average most of the East, slightly above average for most of the rest of the country. Highs today, teens here in western Iowa, single digits to below zero, up into Minnesota. So this is very cold air. But it's only, the northern part of the country. It warms up as you head, say, into the Central Plains. We see 40s turn to 50s in Kansas, 50s turn to 60s from Oklahoma into Texas, but still lots of 40s and 50s for the southeast. And even moving into Florida, 50s in the Panhandle. They're freezing. That's cold for them. And then you see those temperatures in the teens and 20s for the Great Lakes with that lake effect snow. Lows tomorrow morning, back in the single digits here in Iowa, teens, Nebraska, South Dakota, and then quickly below zero up there in North Dakota and Minnesota, Wisconsin, UP of Michigan. Lots of 20s and 30s to start the day for much of the country, including parts of the southeast. So a cold start tomorrow, even down in the southeast. Surface for tomorrow, there's our freezing rain, Nebraska and Iowa, southern Minnesota. Could be rain, probably closer to the Iowa border, but we'll see. And then showers further south. There's our Pacific storm still dumping heavy snows in California and Oregon. Anomalous temperatures for tomorrow, moderating a little bit. So we're still below average here in Iowa, but not as much below average. The most below average looks like upper Midwest through the Great Lakes. Still slightly below average, though, for the East Coast, including the Southeast and for Florida. Still above average for West Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, and also up in the interior Pacific Northwest. Highs tomorrow, again, getting a little bit warmer here in Iowa, 20s instead of teens. And then, even our zeros and single digits are gone from this map. So retreating back into Canada, and a little bit warmer there in Florida and Texas. It doesn't stay cold long down there in the south, usually. There are exceptions. Even 50s return for Georgia. All right, here's your 48-hour precipitation. Heaviest in Northern California, Southern Oregon, and into the the Siskiyous of California, and also the Sierra Nevada. You see our lighter precipitation for the plains and Midwest, and then heavier again back off the Great Lakes, falling as snow. The big winners are the Siskiyous of California and also into the Sierra Nevada. We're talking close to 2 feet in some areas. And then same for the Great Lakes. We could see a foot and a half, approaching 2 feet in some areas off of the Great Lakes. Surface on Saturday, your freezing rain coming to an end for Iowa, most of it turning back into rain, but could hang on to the freezing rain in northern Iowa into Minnesota, Wisconsin. It's rain and showers down in the Ohio Valley and down also along the Mississippi River and eastern Texas. And then up in the Pacific Northwest, still that storm is moving in, and still heavy snows for the Sierra Nevada, the Siskiyous, also for Oregon and for Washington. Maybe a little bit of freezing rain there in Montana. Saturday's anomalous temperatures, above average now for most of the country, hanging on to slightly below average mid-Atlantic parts of the southeast and to the northeast, but moderating quite a bit. Highs on Saturday, we're in the 40s here in Iowa. Oh, it's snowing. I love that. It's beautiful. All right, 40s here in Iowa, but still hanging on to 30s and 20s, upper Midwest and northern plains, hanging on to the 30s and the 20s into the northeast. But again, warming up a little bit as we go here. All right, we're going to head over to, this is the NAM, the NAM. People call it the NAM. And what's cool about the NAM, it's a shorter term forecast, but it has a higher resolution. And so we're going to get a better idea for the ice storm is really what I want to check out here. So here's our little band of light snow that's happening now, and it is snowing outside. It's pretty. And then here's our lake effect snow, and then here's our Pacific storm. This is 15Z, so we're talking minus 9 o'clock. So, or is this 11 o'clock? 15 minus 6 is 9. So 9 a.m. Into the Midwestern time. So we're cold, and that little band of snow moving on. Here's snow in the northwest. Here's your lake effect snow. I'm going to go a little bit quicker because I want to see the formation of this low here in Kansas, Missouri, that's going to bring us the chance of rain, freezing rain. And here we are, busting out with an area of freezing rain in western Iowa, including where I live. This is Saturday 3Z, so this is Friday night at 9 p.m. And it's definitely going to be cold enough for freezing rain, some sleet thrown in there as we get, this is midnight. This is Saturday morning, so freezing rain, sleet hanging in there for most of Iowa. Changing to rain, though, as we get later in the day for the southern part of Iowa. This is Saturday, the 15Z, so 9 a.m. And then it moves off to the east. Rain here, snow and freezing rain as you get into Minnesota, Wisconsin, and eastern Iowa. And then you see the heavy snows throughout all of that. For the Sierra Nevada, moving into Utah, some pretty good snows. This gets us into Saturday night. There we go. Saturday night, Sunday morning, And that's the end of the run because it's a shorter run with higher resolution. Then we get to the GFS. This is our normal look, and we'll get you to this morning, and then moving into noontime or so, and we see the cold air retreating northward a little bit, but still cold across the Great Lakes. Heavy snows and heavy rains, Northern California. You see these lines of equal pressure, very strong winds for California, for Oregon. As that storm moves in, could be flooding rains, Northern California, heavy snow for the mountains, and some pretty good snows even in eastern Washington, eastern Oregon, moving into Idaho. Now, it looks like rain for Boise, but snow in the mountains around. And then here is our storm. So let me back up to the formation. So the beginning of the freezing rain, also 9 o'clock tomorrow night. And then as we get into, say, midnight, it's snowing outside. I can't stop looking. Then it's this. The GFS has more rain than freezing rain for Iowa. Northern Iowa, yes, freezing rain, but it's the southern half rain, including me. And this is Saturday morning at 6 a.m. So we'll see if we're holding on to 20s and freezing rain, like the NAM said, or if we're going to be above freezing and rain. You can't do much with freezing rain. I mean, it's kind of pretty on the trees and stuff, but hopefully the roads stay warm enough. But it's been so cold. Anyway, so this turns into a rainstorm Saturday for Iowa. The freezing rain holding on into Minnesota and Wisconsin. Heavy rain, heavy snow. California, as we get into Saturday, just dumping here. If you like watching Storm Chasers, Storm Runner Media is in Truckee. In fact, I think they're going to start streaming any minute now this morning, and they're tracking all this snow up here in the Sierra Nevada. So if you like to watch snow on YouTube, that's where they are. So my other favorite Storm Chasers are in the Great Lakes, covering the heavy snow there. So lots of entertainment for you on YouTube if you like weather. As we get into Sunday morning, snow in Idaho. Does some of it maybe even in Boise, but it still looks like a little bit of rain for the lowest elevations here. So, and then as we go through, we got rain now moving into the Great Lakes as the cold air retreats, but a little bit of a system in the northwest keeping it cool there as we get into Monday. Another chance of rain moving out of the plains into the Midwest, maybe even some showers and thunderstorms and some heavy rain lining up here from Arkansas all the way into Illinois. This is Monday at noon. Snow coming down pretty good. And then then those showers move off to the east. Meanwhile, in the west, we see snow in Boise, it looks like, for Tuesday, the 17th. So you're saying there's a chance it could happen. And then we've got the low moving through the Great Lakes here. Again, this gets us through Tuesday, moving into Wednesday. Now, will we have some snow here in Iowa on the 18th? Now, previous runs had some snow, even all the way down to northern Missouri. This one keeps the snow a little further to the north. Might miss me to the north if this comes true. But something to watch if you live in Harlan like I do. Maybe a little bit of snow for the 18th, 19th, Wednesday, Thursday of next week is our next best chance, I would say, for accumulating snow. The most we've had so far here in Harlan is about a ½ inch and a dusting a couple times. But the cold air returns Friday of next week as a deep trough digging into the center of the country with a lot of rain there on the East Coast. All right, let's do the temperature trends into next week. So you see Monday warming up, the cold air retreating to the north. We got 50s all the way into Ohio, Indiana, 40s all the way into Michigan, all the way into upstate New York, even in Maine. So warming up, northern plains above freezing except North Dakota, Minnesota, and cold in the Rockies, of course. That's probably not going to change till May. Highs on Tuesday, a little bit of cold air coming back in the northern plains, upper Midwest, and cooling off a little bit here in Iowa. So we go Monday and then Tuesday. So you see a lot of that red on the map retreating, cooling off in the Ohio Valley, for example. Even Tennessee goes from 60s to 50s on Tuesday. And then Wednesday, Tennessee about the same in the 50s, but we're back below freezing here in western Iowa, for example. All right, moving further out in time, this is December 19th through the 25th. If you're dreaming of a white Christmas, it might be a dream. Above average for the western 2/3 of the country. Near average for the East Coast, a little below for Florida. Above average Alaska, you're still going to get snow. And for Hawaii, and above average precipitation, southern Alaska. But drier than average Hawaii and drier than average most of the country. Doesn't mean no precipitation. It just means if there is, it'll be less than you would typically expect this time of year. That's a quick look at your weather. I'm going to go outside and look at the snow. And maybe I'll drive to the lake and take some more pictures. It's awfully pretty over there. It's definitely frozen. All right. Really appreciate you tuning in. Have a great day, and we'll do it again tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in, The Weather Mike.